866-582-9933. Or if you're listening to the podcast or would like to talk to somebody live about the longevity business opportunity or how to get the supplements at the wholesale price, 855-347-3696. That's 855-347-3696. All right, Sandy, we are back, and I think you've got a question about what's going on with your finger.
I had a little arthritis in my pinky fingers and I think one of my other fingers, and you told me to take like 24 of these glucogels a day, which I've been doing now for the past, 3 or 4 weeks or whatever. I weigh about 115 pounds. And then I've been putting the CM cream on it. Now, I do notice that the areas like on my pinkies are getting smaller, and I did have the rheumatoid panel done, and I don't have that. Okay, but I just noticed 2 days ago, the middle finger that was kind of ached a little bit, so I thought, well, maybe there's a little arthritis there too. That's now kind of bruised looking. I didn't hit it or anything like that. It just has like a funky looking bruise on it.
Oh, that's interesting. And you sure you didn't hit it?
No, I'm sure I didn't. But I've been rubbing the CM cream in, so it could have bothered it, but I know it was hurting before. Like if I touched it, it's bruised, but it really doesn't, it almost hurts a little bit less.
Well, the CM cream ostensibly could be, making the blood a little too thin if you're rubbing it in there too aggressively. And the first thing, and that would make it bruise more easily, the first thing to consider, of course, whenever you generate a brand new symptom that's really kind of peculiar is the first thing to think about is, well, what have I been doing that's new or that's different from my normal routine? And if the answer is, well, I've been using CM cream on that finger, then that's probably what's going on here. I would back off of the use of the CM cream until the bruise goes away, and then use it less frequently. Right? But listen, the thing for you to understand, Sandy, and to get dialed in here, which I'm assuming that you're doing, and by the way, I think you're doing a fantastic job here, and the thing to understand is slow and steady wins this race. And, a 70% improvement in 1 year from 50 years of bowel trouble is really pretty great. And now the arthritic fingers are starting to get a little bit better. The swelling and the nodosities on the pinky fingers, it's not as bad as it used to be. So really, for you, it's just a matter of time until all of this rolls around in a progressively better and better way. And also understand, Sandy, that everything's connected. So as the bowel stuff gets better symptomatically, and as the arthritic fingers get better symptomatically, that can only mean that a whole bunch of unseen stuff inside the body is also improving. And this is one of the unseen benefits of the holistic method. Because as we're supporting and promoting, the health of the blood sugar or the health of the blood pressure or the health of the bones and joints or whatever, into the bargain, we're also supporting and promoting the health of the body. And an ounce of prevention here is worth a ton of cure, because from our point of view, the majority, if not 100% of chronic diseases are caused by nutrient deficiencies. So as your conditions resolve and as your health improves, we're going to be dodging gigantic landmines that you would have stepped right on top of had you not done this moving forward. And we're going to attempt, the next thing we're going to attempt to do, after all of this stuff is behind us, Sandy, is to optimize your lifespan, right? I want you to be 105 years old and healthy.
Well, I'm going to be older than that because I'm going to be studying medical nutrition, so I got to be around a long time to help people.
All right. Well,
I'll be helping you and Dr. Wallach with this stuff.
That really does make you the smartest girl in class. Keep up the good work, Sandy. Thanks so much for the phone call. All right, it's my pleasure. You keep it going, girl. All right, next up is Dale from Wisconsin. If Dale is still here, she's got a question about the Ultimate Classic. Thanks for calling, Dale. You are live.
Hi, Dr. Glidden. This is Dale. I got a question about the Ultimate Classic. I got a potential client that's looking at the ingredients, and he sees the sodium benzenate and potassium sorbate.
Yeah.
And the sodium benzenate, he says he's been avoiding that like the plague. He doesn't buy anything with that in, so he's wondering what you could say about that.
Well, tell him he's an idiot. That's the most politically correct thing to say, and this is what really gets my goat, you know. And again, this is the beauty and the ugliness of the internet, right? Everything balances itself out because you know, for instance, you can go on the internet and pull up all this nonsense about sodium benzoate and preservatives and artificial sweeteners, and you can also go on the internet and there's a whole group of people that still think the earth is flat, right? So there's a lot of stuff that's on the internet and that is kind of in popular alternative culture that's just not correct, and this is one of the things that's just not correct. The problem with sodium benzoate, ostensibly, is the presence of a nasty little chemical called benzene. Benzene is, in fact, a nasty little chemical. That's an academic fact. It's not arguable. Benzene will kill you. It's bad stuff. It's a big cancer causer. Benzene is nasty. And the popular notion here is that sodium benzoate transforms magically somehow into benzene, which is kind of like thinking that sodium chloride that's in your salt can magically transform itself into a swimming pool. Because, you know, there's chlorine in a pool, right? Well, there's chlorine in the salt, so what the heck? And it doesn't happen, though, which is the point. So the problem here is just lack of understanding and, you know, just a little bit of gullibility, quite frankly, on the behalf of your friend. And fear not, however, Longevity keeps lot numbers. If you look on the bottle of Ultimate Classic or any of the other bottles, there's a lot number. And the company is required by law to keep samples of everything that it makes in a warehouse under different lot numbers, and they're tested for things like benzene and contamination and rancidity every 6 months. We've been testing this stuff for 20 years, as does every other company that puts sodium benzoate into stuff. We've never found benzene once. It ain't going to happen. It's a fable. It's a myth of, it's a cultural myth. Just like people still think that thimerosal in the vaccines caused autism, it didn't. And just like people think that aluminum causes Alzheimer's, it doesn't. There's no politically correct way to say this. I wish there was, but it's just wrong thinking. It's incorrect. It's got nothing. There's no harm and no foul in the sodium benzoate whatsoever. And it's there for a reason, quite frankly. It has a beneficial aspect, and if the sodium benzoate wasn't there, that particular product would go bad by the time it got to your door because there's so much stuff in it. There's so much stuff that promotes life that yeast and fungus and bacteria that are just everywhere all the time, they'd like go crazy in that bottle. They would go crazy, and it would be filled with mold by the time you opened it up because it's so jam-packed with life-giving nutrients. The sodium benzoate issue is a non-starter. It's a non-starter.
I figured Dr. Wallach put it in for a good reason.
Yeah, you see, and this is what we're up against this a lot, and I'll tell you a little inside information. There was another thing. What the heck was it? I think it was potassium sorbate. Yeah, I'm having a senior moment here, but there was another product that Longevity had that there was a preservative in it. And Dr. Wallach got so tired of answering this question over and over and over again because it's a popular culture that they made the product into a different form and they took the preservative out of it just to keep people from asking him that question. So, you know, a little bit of knowledge here goes a long way. You don't have to worry about that stuff. And as above, so below. My experience here, buddy, is when all else fails, trust Dr. Wallach. I mean, the day that I can trip Dr. Wallach up on something, it's going to be the brightest day of my life because I really will have made it in the world of science. I'm still waiting for Wallach to be wrong on something, and he never is. So if I had to trust somebody, you know, some knucklehead with a website or Dr. Wallach, I'm going with Wallach every time. All right, man. I appreciate the phone call. Thank you so much for your support. Keep up the good work. Up next, we're going to Texas. Big Texas. David's giving us a call from Texas with low back pain. Thanks for the call, David. You are live.
Yes, hello, Dr. Glidden. Wake up in the morning and get pain. I wonder if that's any connection with my carotid stenosis and high blood pressure.
Well, it's impossible to diagnose stuff over the phone, right? And that's really not our ambition here, nor is that our gestalt. We're not up to making diagnoses. But all things being equal, this isn't rocket science. And so what is it that you've got? You wake up and you've got back pain first thing in the morning when you get out of bed?
Yes, sir. But that's... You move around, kind of goes away, but I do have a problem with a carotid stenosis, and I've been told by surgeons to have, last November he wanted to have surgery, and I told him no, and I've been trying to lower my blood pressure instead. And
okay, so you've got carotid stenosis and high blood pressure, and now you've just started to develop low back pain first thing in the morning? Is that correct?
Well, that's kind of been ongoing, I guess, yes.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Do you have any other arthritis anywhere else in your hips or your shoulders or your knees?
Yes, all of the above.
All right. Have you ever had a kidney stone?
No.
Okay. And how tall are you and how much do you weigh?
I'm 5'9", and right now I'm 140. I've lost some weight since I've gone on longevity 10 months ago. I've trimmed off some belly, and it seems to be helping in lots of ways, but I just had a question about the carotid arteries.
The carotid stenosis. All right, so I tell you what, Dave, we're coming back in just a minute here. We're up against a hard break, so stick around. I'm going to tell you what you can do to support and promote the health of your cardiovascular system, whether the diagnosis is carotid stenosis, clogged arteries, calcium buildup, whatever. Dr. Wallach's got your back, and so do I. Back, ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening to the podcast, 855-347-3696. Give that number a call. Speak to a live human being. Get your nutritional supplements at the wholesale price and find out about the longevity business opportunity. Again, if you'd like to call into the live show and speak with me today, we do have lines open now, 866-582-9933. That's 866-582-9933. We're talking to Dave in Texas now, and he's wondering what to do about carotid artery. Now, the carotid arteries are, those big arteries in your neck that the vampires go for whenever they try to kill somebody. They bite them right in that neck. Or when you see one of these spy shows on TV or the NCIS TV shows and somebody's shot and they're unconscious and they want to check to see if they're alive, they put their two fingers on their neck. Well, they're feeling the carotid arteries. You have the right carotid artery and the left carotid artery, and they're the main deliverers of oxygenated arterial blood to your brain, pretty important arteries. And if you are following the advice of MDs, and if you are following the advice of Monsanto and General Mills and Betty Crocker, eating all of the wrong food all of the time and taking no nutritional supplementation because the MDs have convinced you that vitamins just give you expensive urine and it's a waste of time and a waste of money. If you have been following their advice, eating food that creates inflammation and not helping your body to put out the fires of inflammation, what happens is your arteries start to get gummed up. Why do your arteries start to get gummed up? Well, Dr. Wallach proved in 1972 that one of the mechanisms that leads to gumming up of arteries in the body is inflammation in the arteries. It's got nothing to do with cholesterol. Cholesterol does not cause arteries to get clogged. Cholesterol does not cause arteries to get clogged. Cholesterol is the bandage that your body lays down over the site of the inflammation to keep you from bleeding to death. However, if your chronic inflammatory process is afoot every day, 3 times a day with breakfast, lunch, and dinner, then it's only a matter of time until the arteries get gummed up with too much cholesterol because there's been too much inflammation. And also, if there's not enough calcium or not enough magnesium in your body. If there's not enough magnesium, arteries can get clogged with calcium, and that's called hardening of the arteries. You can get calcium deposition in the arteries. That's not caused by calcium. It's caused by a lack of magnesium. But because the MDs have no training, no respect, no appreciation, and no knowledge, no understanding of medical nutrition whatsoever, they are completely in the dark about all of this, and this is why we do what we do, because everybody needs to know what we know and nobody does. So, Dave, here's the deal. In order to support and promote your cardiovascular system, what we recommend is massive intake of antioxidants, okay? Now, antioxidants are measured by something called an ORAC score, O-R-A-C, and in order to support and promote the health of your cardiovascular system, if you've got gummed up carotid arteries, your goal of antioxidant intake every day should be 100,000 ORAC points. 100,000 ORAC points. Now, in 2 scoops of the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, there's about 6,000 ORAC points. In 1 capsule of the Cell Shield RTQ, there's 8,000 ORAC points. In 1 piece of Triple Treat chocolate, there's 17,000 ORAC points. That's a lot. So by adding Cell Shield RTQ to your diet and to your supplement program and the Triple Treat chocolate, not to be confused with the Triple Truffle chocolate, I want you to do the Triple Treat chocolate, you can significantly increase your intake of antioxidants every day, marching steadily towards the goal of 100,000 ORAC antioxidant points a day. Now, you can also get antioxidants from walnuts and from cinnamon and from curry powder and from green tea. Some types of coffee even are high in antioxidants. So you should educate yourself about foods that are high in antioxidants as well. Switching from white wine to red wine, you get more antioxidants. Putting cinnamon on your food, how about that? Drinking green tea. Switching from bananas to blueberries, or from bananas to raspberries, you're going to get more ORAC in your body, and this is what you need to. And then the secret sauce. The secret sauce, to wrap it all up with a nice little bow, is 1 bottle of the Ultimate Daily Capsules a month. 1 bottle of the Ultimate Daily Capsules a month, on top of a targeted antioxidant ORAC score of 100,000 points a day. Plus, you, me, and everybody else must eliminate the 10 bad foods. When you clean up your diet, you stop creating inflammation, and that goes a long way. Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, your friendly neighborhood naturopathic physician, your steadfast advocate for health, talking to you today and every day about science-based, clinically verified alternatives to drugs and surgery to support and promote the health of your body to fix itself, the ability of your body to fix itself, the health of your body. We have developed generic, boilerplate medical nutrition protocols which will help you tremendously in the face of a diagnosis of most chronic diseases. Our basic tenet here is that the MD philosophy of healing has nothing for you to help your body heal from a chronic disease. All that they can do is help you manage a chronic disease. And so you go from the frying pan into the fire, you get worse and worse and worse every couple of years, need a new drug. Just like Sandy, right, up at the top of the hour, where first they gave her 1 antidepressant, then another, and then they changed their minds. Oh, it's a thyroid problem, right? They just throw stuff against the wall to see what sticks. They keep moving the goalposts all of the time. They've got nothing for you. The only time they have anything for you is when you're bleeding to death or have some type of trauma. That's what they're good at. That's their wheelhouse. That's their domain. Our domain is the administration of science-based, clinically verified alternatives to drugs and surgery. You know, there is stuff. We've had therapeutics in place for decades which help people get over high blood pressure, which help people get on the other side of type 2 diabetes. Did you know you can do that? By the way, we can't say we can cure it because according to the FDA, the only thing that can cure anything is a drug. So we don't say we can cure a darn thing. I don't even say we treat anything. We don't. You can't bring me a box of high blood pressure. You can't. High blood pressure is a name for an intangible set of symptoms. It's an intangible name given to a distinct set of symptoms that shows up in the human body. I've treated thousands of people, but I've never once treated a disease. The naturopathic maxim, one of the naturopathic maxims is treat the patient, not the disease. So what do? Do we treat blood pressure? No. Do we treat blood sugar? No. Do we treat arthritis? No. Do we treat depression? No. What do? We give your body the raw materials and help so that it can treat itself, so that your body can fix itself. And this is our fundamental supposition. Your body is endowed with a God-given intelligence. Your body knows how to fix itself. Your body wants to fix itself. And most of the time, all that's necessary for that to happen is to clean your diet up, stop eating food that you're unwittingly eating that's hurting you, and then give your body the proper nutritional supplements, the proper raw materials that it needs to recover its health. Get out of the way, and your body will recover itself. Next up, I believe, is another Dave. We've had two Sandras and now two Daves. Dave from Tennessee is next, I think, with a question about Meniere's disease. Thanks, Dave.
Yeah, hey, Dr. Glidden. Yeah, I've been doing the 90 for Life 2-packs, the glucogel, Z-Radical, things like that, and I've been doing that. I've not really been consistent at it. I've been on a gluten-free diet since probably August, and anyway, this stuff just kind of came on me when I got it seemed like everybody in the family got a cold, and I got a cold, and it's been coming on me. And I did antibiotics, and then I did a shot that was a steroid shot, and it still hasn't cleared it up, and it's almost debilitating. And then now they put me on a steroid pack. So I didn't know what your opinion was of this and what your suggestions would be.
Okay, so all of a sudden you got dizzy, and they diagnosed it as Meniere's disease, and it just came out of the blue after you got a head cold. Is that right?
I haven't been diagnosed yet. It's just all the symptoms are there. Pressure in my ear. I had a couple of vertigo episodes. Just sort of, just the pressure and sort of just not necessarily drunk, but just don't feel centered.
Yeah. Okay. And if you walk around in a circle, does it make it worse?
I walk around right now. You talking about spinning a 360 or walk around a circle?
Well, either. If you move your body in a 360 degrees, either just spinning your body around or walking slowly in a circle, does the uneasiness and unsteadiness get worse?
Might do that anyway. I'm doing a circle right now, and I mean, it's got to kind of catch up with me. Yeah, it intensifies it a little bit. Yeah.
Okay. And this wasn't present until you got a head cold?
Exactly.
Okay. And the symptom that you're experiencing now that's also since the head cold is that one of your ears feels stopped up and like there's pressure inside of it?
Yeah, exactly.
And is that accompanied with any type of throbbing, or is it just a sense of pressure?
I don't feel the throbbing. It's just more pressure that won't release.
Yeah, okay. And is it on the left side or the right side?
Right side.
All right, good. So there's a little tube that goes from your ear canal, the inner ear canal, into the back of your throat. It's called the eustachian tube, and you spell that E-U-S-T-A-C-I-O-N, E-U-S-T-A-C-I-O-N, eustachian tube. It's a funny word, but it's the drain that the body has put in place to keep the fluids from building up and rupturing the eardrum. There's a little chamber behind the eardrum that is drained by the eustachian tube, and if that drain gets clogged up, the fluid that your middle ear, your inner ear, just generally generates as a part of being healthy will build up and build up and build up and build up. And in little kids, when this happens, when they get a sore throat or a head cold or something, what the MD does is they go in and they punch a hole in the eardrum and let the fluid drain out. They put tubes in the ears, right? So again, this is not rocket science, and like the fella said, where there's smoke, there's fire, and when you hear hoofbeats, the first thing you think about is horses before you think about zebras. So when somebody gets a sense of pressure in their ear associated with dizziness on a low-grade fashion after a head cold, then the most reasonable thing to assume is that the eustachian tube has gotten gummed up and inflamed. And when the eustachian tube is gummed up and inflamed, the fluid in your ear, behind the eardrum, is going to be building up too much, and then that's going to have an effect on your balance, because the stuff that, the part of your anatomy that regulates your balance is in the next room right over, it's called the inner ear, and there's another little membrane that separates the middle ear from the inner ear, and when the fluid in the middle ear builds up, it pushes on that and everything's connected. It's just going to make your life you're going to seem like uncentered, and you're just going to not seem like yourself, kind of like you feel if you've had one too many to drink, but you haven't, and it's just not good. So what I would do in order to get on the other side of this is an old-fashioned naturopathic hydrotherapy technique, and here's how you do it. You got to get 2 mixing bowls from the kitchen, just medium-sized mixing bowls, and in one of the bowls you put hot tap water, hot as you can make it, tap water, not boiling water from the stove, just hot tap water, and in the other bowl you put cold water with some ice cubes, all right, cold water with some ice cubes, and then you go get 2 face cloths. And you put 1 face cloth in each bowl, and then you make yourself comfortable in a chair or on the couch and turn on the TV or turn some music on or whatever, because this whole program is going to take about half an hour. So now you've got the 2 bowls, one of hot water and one of cold water. You've got a face cloth in each bowl, and you start by taking the hot cloth out of the hot water and wring it out over the water, so you just have a hot, moist cloth, and then you put it on your neck, on the right side of your neck, and the top of the towel wants to be right on your jawline, and then the bottom of the towel, it kind of like covers your throat and the side of your neck, all right? So you put the hot towel there, and you press on it a little bit, and you leave it on for, for about a minute, 2 minutes. Now, while the hot cloth is still on your neck, you leave it on the neck, and you take the cold towel, wring it out, put the cold towel directly on top of the hot towel, and then you flip them over. So it goes from hot to cold really fast against your skin. Now the cold towel is against your skin, and the hot towel's on top. You peel the hot towel off and put it back in the hot water. And then you alternate hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, just like that, for about a half an hour. Always start with the hot application and always end with the cold application. I don't care if you've done it 35 times, 35 rounds. The first time you put the towel on your skin, it's hot, and the very last application is the cold application. Now, you may need to refresh the hot water bowl 2 or 3 times over the course of a half an hour, because the water will just get lukewarm. And when the water in the hot bucket gets lukewarm, it's not as effective, because the magic to this treatment is the discrepancy between the hot and the cold. So as hot as you can keep the water and as cold as you can keep the water, that's when this particular thing works best. And what it does is it's a pump. So you put the hot cloth on, it opens the eustachian tube up, because the eustachian tube is directly underneath it anatomically, and then you put the cold towel on, it squeezes it closed, opens it up, squeezes it closed, opens it up, squeezes it closed. The idea here is that this, it's called a hydrotherapeutic, hot and cold hydrotherapy. It will ostensibly help the eustachian tube to flush out any mucus plugs that are in there, any type of congestive stuff that's developed in there. Oftentimes you get little mucus plugs that have formed in there, and the hydrotherapy over time will help your body to just get rid of them. So that's the first thing that you could do. I would do this for a half an hour twice a day if you can do it with your time. A half an hour twice a day, starting with the hot and ending with the cold. And the next thing to do is to take supplements that help to knock down the inflammatory process in this part of your body. And the best thing to do in that regard is the Cell Shield RTQ and the CM tablets. There's a product called CM, like Charlie Michael, capsules, CM capsules. It's the same stuff that's in the CM cream, except it's in a capsule form, and it's anti-inflammatory. So I would take a boatload of those, man. I would take like 5 CM capsules 3 times a day for 4 days, right? I would just max out on the CM capsules. I would do 3 of the Cell Shield RTQ 3 times a day, 3 Cell Shield RTQ 3 times a day, and I would do 5 of the CM capsules 3 times a day until you're out of them. And also, if you want to really kind of, maximize the potential here, you can also get the CM cream and apply it to that same part of your throat and jaw that the towel was on in between applications of the hot and cold hydrotherapy. What the CM cream does is it knocks down inflammation, right? And I think that the root cause of this problem for you is inflammation in the eustachian tube. That's a side effect of the head cold that you had. I think that's the only thing that's going on here. And one other thing that you can do, which may be helpful, is while you're doing this, until you're out of the woods with this symptom, eliminate dairy from your diet completely. Just if it's made from cow's milk, stop eating it completely until you're out of the woods with this, and give that a try, and give me a call back at the end of next week with a report. Thanks for the call. I appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. This is Fire Your MD Now. Knowledge is power, ladies and gentlemen, and you don't know what you don't know. And sadly, when it comes to medicine and health care, there's just a ton of stuff that you didn't know. And that stuff will heal you or will kill you. And listen, your medical doctor might be the nicest person in the world, but they only know what they've been trained in. And what they've been trained in is only one small piece of the pie of medical science. So don't use them for therapeutics that fail you. I mean, you wouldn't do that with your car, you wouldn't do that with your house, you wouldn't do that with your dog, for goodness sake. Don't go to the MDs if you have a chronic health condition, because they got nothing for you. We do. Fire your MD now, and get everybody in your family to do the same. Visit fireyourmdnow.com and sign up for my online health recovery program, Protocols. Check out the webinars, get the book, read it, join Youngevity, and educate yourself about science-based, clinically verified, simple solutions to support and promote the health of your body. You're going to love how you feel. Time for one last call, I think. Damien from Baltimore is on phone wanting to talk about avoiding taking shots. Hey, Damien, how about that Super Bowl, huh?
I know. How about it? How about it? Thank you for taking my call, Dr. Glidden.
How can I help you, man?
Well, I have a big problem. I've been working in the medical field for 10 years now, and, it's pretty disturbing the fact that me taking the time to do my research and analysis about the flu shot and knowing the history of it, I'm not a fan of it. I was trying to avoid it, but every hospital in the United States is pretty much made it mandatory. My question is, what can I do to avoid taking it? And if there's anything, if I can't do anything, what steps can I take as far as, taking a Healthy Start Pack? Is there anything in particular I can do to avoid getting the flu shot or prevent it from happening?
Yeah. So if you do get the flu shot, what can you do to help to prevent side effects, right?
Exactly.
All right. Well, this may be the universe forcing you into a corner.
Exactly.
And making you make a choice, man.
Exactly.
That might be it.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Because you don't want to work for a profession that does all this nonsense. And quite frankly, if there's a law that makes it mandatory for you to take a flu shot, I don't think that that's possible, quite frankly.
Right.
I would just refuse the flu shot. Just say, yeah, no thanks, I'm not going to take that, and then see what they do. because they might just be scaring you. Oh, you know, you're going to lose your job, or you're going to be sanctioned, or this, that, or the other thing.
They hit you with all that.
Well, look,
they hit you with all that.
I would play their hand. I would say, look, I'm not going to do it, and, you know, let the chips fall where they may. And then if they actually do take action, well, then you can make a choice as to whether you want to move forward and get the shot or not. But if you go to my website and just, you know, sign up for 1 month for my online subscription, I did a really good webinar on the flu shot a couple of weeks ago, and it's right there in the archive section. So you can just sign up for my online health recovery thing. It's only $17. You can watch the webinars that I put together about the flu shot, and then you can use the information that I talk about there to arm yourself against this nonsense. And there's also a colleague of mine is really taking the bull by the horns in this regard. Her name is Sherry Tenpenny.
Yeah, I know about that. Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah. So she's got a good website, right, that can give you a lot of kind of facts and figures and published research that really just flies in the face of the conventional use of the flu shot. Or, you know, you might just want to just kind of string them along until the end of flu season when it's not mandatory to have the flu shot anymore, and you kind of sneak out by way of default, right? You kind of grandfathered yourself out of it, right?
Exactly. Completely.
Now, all right, so, but look, man, the stress of a flu shot is another one of life's stresses. And what we do to guard ourselves against the stress of life, number one, eliminate the 10 bad foods. Number two, take 1 healthy start pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month. Number three, take 1 bottle of selenium per 50 pounds of body weight per month. And for extra insurance against the influenza shot, you know, what would I recommend? The Z-Radical. 1, 2, 3, 4 bottles of Z-Radical a month. But for goodness sake, man, there comes a time in every man's life, Damien, where you have to draw a line in the sand. Maybe this is your time. I don't know. Pray on it. Search your soul. See what happens for you. But, you know, every once in a while, you just got to say, this far and no further. Thanks for the call. Keep up the good work. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, and this is Fire Your MD Now. Check the website out, fireyourmdnow.com. I'll see you next week.